not on the stage with them today. And looking at the map, Vito, as we speculated what will CNET play. Surely, if they pick Bind Mini, he's playing Sage.
Sage on Bind? Yeah,
Surely.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I don't mind Sage on Bind. I'm a bit confused by this corrode ban by Gentlemates, to be honest with you. I think that having a bit more time than other teams, being that kind of dark force team, I want them to be floating this map, personally.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I think Bind being first pick is kind of an interesting one. This is a map that FUT played 2 different comps on during kickoff, so hopefully now that they've made a couple of adjustments with CNED coming in, they have a clearer idea of what their identity actually looks like on that map. Of course, as well, when we go to Sunset, we've not seen it from either of these teams yet so far this year, so I'm intrigued to see why Gentlemates have picked into that and what they've cooked up for us.
Yeah, and hear me out. CNED Sage Bind, Sage Sunset, why not? We do the Michael Doublé. Lotus, you know, I'll take a chamber on Lotus, why not?
I mean, it's fun. They like playing Sage on Lotus. So
yeah, that's true.
You get the triple.
They also play Sage on Lotus. Imagine he's just
I want to see double
main.
duelist or chamber on CNED.
Yeah,
if he smokes, I'm going to be... I know people like to play this duelist on smokes thing, but CNED's not one of those players, I don't think. He's a slow transitioner to new agents.
Yeah, and
put him on what he's comfortable with.
And he was the first person that on Na'Vi they tried to make that happen, and it just did not happen back then. But what about Gentlemates? Are we looking and wanting the double duelist on their side as well?
I think that would be the weakest of the 3. The maps where Vikash has to play a recon agent as a former duelist is going to be the hardest for this team to succeed, in my opinion.
I think one thing that's going for Gentlemates with Vcash coming in is he has played every single role at some point in his career. Of course, he is going to be stronger on others, like the duelist, like we say. For me, I think the tactic for Gentlemates at the moment is come back, go kill.
Oh yeah, definitely. Come back, go kill. Everyone else, just make sure you don't flash him. Flash for him, just don't flash him. And I also think it's very interesting for a player like Kamek as well, because he was the rookie, coming as a sub, then having to switch teams. And now, if you look at this lineup, Mini, he's the veteran.
He's a veteran.
He is the most experienced person on that roster.
That is crazy to think about. I hope that all the lovely things that I, you know, maybe helped him with.
Okay, you.
Yeah,
right.
me.
Not Liquid then, not Liquid.
Me, Boaster, and Liquid. That's the
Is that the Holy Trinity?
That's the Holy Trinity.
I think the thing as well, like I like that we're talking about Mini potentially, you know, being that veteran on the stage, but something that we've seen from Gentlemates.
Oh, I thought you.
Wait,
sorry,
yeah,
I thought you meant Mini.
No, not
I thought you meant Walmart Mini.
I love that Gentlemates have been able to upgrade every single stage so far, right? They've made big investments, they're hoping to make champs, and this is where that story starts.
Charles Neddington is playing Omen. How do we feel?
I feel terrible.
Yeah,
Okay, CNED's just got to prove me wrong. That's all he needs to do. Prove me wrong. I don't like Omen on this map in general. I think Brimstone and Astra are better for those kind of quick smokes. But it allows CNED to play a more duelisty style of smokes on this map, I guess. But Waylay comeback, I've not even realized.
Yeah, there we go.
The buff to Waylay recently is big. If he can just pop off, this could be cool. Like the buff to the orb ability is so big now that I think you can just throw it at a place like lamps and it just gets all of lamps, I believe. So cool idea from Gentlemates here.
Another day of 2 teams playing double initiator. But yeah, like you say, I think that Waylay.
I like it on Bind. I'll preface
that Waylay is exciting for me. I'm excited to see how Comeback plays on that. This is obviously something that Gentlemates feel comfortable with. If they've been cooking up things on Bind, you know, with it coming into the map pool, they probably have expected this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they go up against each other.
And I can't wait to see if we're going to get a comeback CNED op battle on this map. So it's time to jump into it and throw this over to your casters for this match. Is Mitchman and Tombiz.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. Seeing CNED back on the stage is great, but I thought we made a rule last time, Tom. CNED has to play the Jet, and he's coming in here as a controller on Bind, and the controller isn't even Brimstone. This is a strange look that we're getting to see.
Yeah, I feel like Omen has become such a sort of popular choice across almost every single map in the pool at the moment that I think teams have just started to lean in that direction. Obviously, he's had quite a bit of time off, so maybe been just practicing. I definitely do get a little bit more excited about the composition on the other side, though. Bringing in that Waylay for comeback, that chance to sort of take a lot of aggressive space. I think teams always sort of lent into that raise because of that, how far you could get in comparison to the Jet. Well, Waylay has that in his locker, but also combining that with Astra utility, having the Viper alongside it as well. I think it's going to be a better composition for mates. At the same time, though, FUT have never been about their compositions. They've always been about, let's play comfort, let's see what works for us.
Excited to see from some of these Maids players. Obviously, we talked a lot about comeback, but Vekaj and Prox, potential there. Vekaj in the offseason event Game Fest was on fire for this squad up against Na'Vi, and we'll see if he can carry through to that main stage down here in VCT EMEA. Some of that same flair. Prox as well, playing through so many of the historic German teams. I think Eintracht who have, you know, Looker, Buha, or used to at least.
Of course you bring up Lucker within a matter of minutes.
Hey, listen, he's my boy. He's my boy. Oh. But this is a big chance for him, and certainly is more of a newcomer to the scene. Some of these new guns that we've seen on this stage have been playing since 2020, whereas Prox is a much newer face.
Yeah, someone that hasn't been through, like you said, a load of different teams, but has managed to make it to the Tier 1. Now we get to see what they have to offer. Of course, for FUT, a lot more mainstay players. Mates have already been taking this one relatively slow. We've seen the Gecko already become a popular choice on this. They're wrapping around the back of the site, though, looking to try and find some of these fights, grouping up in a death ball, but they've ended up in a bit of a crossfire, but they've done incredibly well from it.
It's a deep push for Mates. A plant now as well towards the back of the site. They haven't taken that space, though. Still sitting inside lamps, but limited utility to deal with it. Yedege sitting in the orb. He's taken all the decay just to try to catch them off guard, but no one steps in. A patient display from Mates as the time ticks away and the pressure on these final two players. The tap comes in. Someone needs to clear it, and a big swing gets Yedege 11 health left on Mr. Fallen, though, and he's all alone. Vekaj to dominate those final two battles, and Mates to walk away with the pistol.
Yeah, great start from them, and one where they really seem to be running this almost death ball strategy, like moving as a unit, looking to try and work on that team synergy. However, Mitch, what I want to talk about is a conspiracy theory.
Oh, here we go.
Nice.
So,
nice, Vekaj, let's go.
You're going to pick up some players.
Yes.
You go for a player from Turkey, who's obviously the region in EMEA. You go for that firepower. You want a hometown hero. Maybe you pick up a German, and then you're looking to make the road to Paris.
I'll find you.
They picked up a Frenchman. I'm just saying, they are going for every single one of the storylines.
They're ticking all the boxes.
Exactly.
Well, they've already got a pistol under their belt, so whatever they're doing is working.
Exactly. I'm sold on it.
Mates so far
One
this
round
year,
in.
they're the lowest win rate for pistols. I think it also said they're the lowest for pistol conversions, the anti-ecos that you come into, and that's exactly what they're facing here.
Against FUT, you know.
Well, there was no need to say that. Things have gone from bad to worse for Mates with the caster curse from Tombiz. You know, pistols for FUT, this is where they have been deadly, but a man that we look to a lot of the time to deal that damage is Ada Captain. He's not here anymore. They've gotten rid of him. Also being the standout performer in most of the matches that FUT have played against Gentlemates. So this could be an opportunity to right the wrongs of history. And already it started out with Zeus on the ground, down and out of the round.
You'll be sat there watching, and you can't win this round without me, without my power. But no, they've grouped up in lamps. At least a couple. The rest coming in on the flank. Comeback, though, looking to be the anti-eco king. And while the wrap back around, it might catch one. It seems like Vekaj.
Oh, no.
We're not going to replay that, guys. Just in case anybody was wondering, that's not going in a replay.
There's no way Andy would put that in. No, you got no ammo left. Come back. He sprayed all the bullets.
That's also not going in the replay.
Oh, this has gone from bad to worse.
We're not replaying anything after this round.
No replays. Straight to the agents. Are the agents select the weaponry?
Wow, you're a little bit behind.
Let's restart the game. Let's go from scratch. I think Mates would take that deal at this point. They got their pistol. A good amount of damage already done. The weapons lost, retrieved by their opponents, and they'll look for some exits. The chances for Mates to convert those ghosts into actual weaponry looking pretty low. That fight from Mini, though, well, that's going to at least secure the Bulldog back into their hands. A little bit of solace for the squad. Mates, 2-0 start, 2 weapons carried forward.
Yeah, the loss of the Marshal's not too bad. It could have been a whole lot worse considering how things had already gone. Comeback already, farming up some of those early orbs, looking to get in towards his ultimate. Bringing through
they've
that.
done slow-mo as well.
Oh no, who could have seen that coming? I would never imagine that our replay team would do that.
I'm gonna have a word with EVS after this one. That was just rude.
It's his first day. How could you do that to him? His first day.
Welcome to the region, buddy.
Wow. 2-0 nonetheless. Comeback already looking for that early fight, but he's been dealt with by Zeus. The battle of the Turkish superstars, the duelists that we've wanted to see face off against each other for a while. But there's still a lot of rifles to play with. They played that bonus round relatively well in terms of the finances. It's disjointed, but Kamik can't quite correct. And more importantly, that's the spike. He's took the fight alone, and he's delivered them. Wow. I was going to say delivered them the spike, but actually they've fallen off. They've given that up.
Still a golden opportunity. Utility needs to be used to get back in there. We'll start out with your Astro Smoke down. Prox recovering the spike. 2v4 though.
Shutting them down.
FUT making no mistakes, not stepping forward into the fray. Gonna have to run through these choke points. Time starts to tick that little bit lower. 30 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds left.
Now finally group up. Both players still relatively healthy. It's at least something, but that didn't last too long. A few shots onto VCT makes this much more difficult. With those spams through the smoke being very dangerous indeed. Already the tap comes through, an attempt to bait out utility, but ultimately it just runs the sands of time lower. 8 seconds, it needs to be committed soon. Smokes fade, and so too do the chances for mates in this round.
Yeah, a controlled looking FUT. I think the aggression ends up working out wonderfully for them, and we already know that you put someone like Zeus in those aggro positions, he's likely to deliver the 1v1 versus comeback, and then the trade eventually coming through from Yedajay. But again, there's going to be another purchase coming up almost immediately for mates. But I do think, again, most of our eyes are going to be on CNED. We know what to expect, that double initiator, Cracks is on his comfort pick. Everything else is standard. But it's whether this man can still have the same success. At his peak on Jet, he was the best in the world. I don't know if his peak on Omen will be that high, but maybe he saw tens go from Jet to Omen and went, if he can do it, I can do it.
Good man to compare yourself to. He's a world champion after all. CNED is in with a good chance to match that performance if anyone is. Gentlemates, my eyes really on VCT. We've talked a lot about comeback, spoken a bit about Prox, but I think the pressure for VCT is pretty huge. He's been around a long time. He's worked his way to this stage. He's represented historic French orgs like 3D Max, who some of the best have played for. But now he's on Gentlemates, a squad that many a Frenchman would sacrifice everything for. This is a sneaky play by Mini. The IGL's the one to open the round up.
Solid start. CNED left somewhat isolated. You do have Cracks around the angle, and a man who's, oh, okay, never mind. Prox has got lost. Not realizing what angle was left open, and losing your Astra in a post-ban is always going to be devastating. Mini has done incredibly well, though. Someone who takes that IGL as more of a leader by example than maybe the mastermind behind the whole operation. Come back with another. Cracks and Yedajay are trying their best, but look at the HP. Down to just 4 health. And he has no choice but to scurry away. And I kind of wanted to, so just before, on what you said about VCT, you have to bear in mind as well that similarly to what we talked about with Apex yesterday, if they finish in the bottom 4, they are out. So he has the pressure of you're trying to keep one of the French organizations in the whole league.
And obviously coming into this, it's not been the greatest year for mates either. 3 out of 9 of their games have been victories. A lot of losses, a lot of close games in there as well. The debut that they had was very nearly one.
That was
power up here.
The super weird thing, right? Didn't they beat Liquid at the beginning of the season? A team who's consistently been within that top 3. And then they didn't win another game and lost to Koi.
I think they beat Fnatic as well. Like, it was Liquid Fnatic starting out 2 out of 3 of their first games, if I remember correctly.
Was that back at kickoff?
Kickoff, yeah.
Okay, because in stage 1 they had the 1 win and then they
were
just defeated all the way through and even lost to Koi, which no one else did.
Oh, Ulysses isn't going to be happy about that one.
I'm okay with that. He'll live.
You've made peace with it.
Yeah, I made peace with it yesterday.
Well, CNED, I mean, You already saw some decent performance from that Omen, finding a player, Prox just looking the other way, finding a gap, using the paranoia to slow the push, but Mini was dealing with him. And that's the thing that you have to say for Mini, taking up that IGL mantle. He has not sacrificed individual performance for it, nor will he in this fight, as he takes the first and the second before going down. It takes the majority of FUT squad to deal with that man, and all the while, that space on the B side, wide open.
They saw Mr. Farland, but he also doesn't really have the weaponry to do anything about it. Cracks in Edge, however, on this flank will do, but I like what mates are doing. They're re-aggressing into angles. Ooh, I was going to say, it needs to be careful from Vekash, but he's won that fight anyway. Really feeling confident in his own individual ability, and while with Comeback trying to hone in on that angle, the screen at least will give Yedege a little bit of space.
Toxin screen down.
Reveal as well, there's the info, good spray, but Vekash clinging onto life in that corner. Now he's got backup. Yedege surrounded, maybe thinking about carrying the weapon forward, but it is only a thought, as he is put in the ground. 4-1 start for Gentlemates.
Yeah, solid stuff. I like how careful they're being as well. Like, you get those couple of openers, but you just look at the ult economy that they currently have. Throwing in Thrash, it's an ult that's very good for information, but a lot of the time you won't see the crazy impact you'd hope from it. So just sending it through to make sure, okay, we keep this round nice and clean, our economy is going to be built up, and then we still have 4 other ultimates to play with going into the next round. And ones that, especially when you look at that convergence path and the Nightfall, can do a hell of a lot in terms of clearing a site.
Back in a flat, hitting the brakes.
Already Comeback's going to be taking the space, or at least he thought. He'd suppressed quickly. Crack's going to delay that deeper push that might have gotten him the info of what's behind the wall. Will be used here, but incorrectly. He doesn't make it up onto the box. Doesn't get that annoying angle to play with as Prox goes sprinting through Bath. That's all the space that FUT had retreated into. And now they've got the pit activated. And it's good for the spike. The difference is mates have taken that pit to deny some control towards Lambs, to take that backside in towards the spawn. That's a brave play from Vekash. He survives it, but the decay on Comeback leaves him so low. He drops 2. The pit alongside it. The round done as a result. CNED sprinting away with the op in hand, but he's already got someone cutting him off. The sniper on the other side. The shots, they don't land at the start. He'll survive on 30 HP, carry that op into the next. But a heavy price paid here, and the round still going to Gentlemates.
Yeah, they committed a lot in terms of their ultimates as well. Like, that was them throwing everything into the wind to make sure they got that over the line. As said, they came in with 4 ults on the mate side, but I think just realizing that, okay, we can really do some damage to the opponents in terms of economy, and especially once they committed the pit.
120.
5-1. Their opponent's map choice not looking so tough thus far. Oh, Comeback even has an operator of his own. Expecting to see some aggression from CNED. And he was correct too. Just realized it's kind of a match made in heaven, because Zeus does not like playing the operator. So having CNED play the controller with an op actually works out very well. He's not taking it from a guy who wants it, at least.
Talking about 10s, but I mean, it just screams Eccles to me. I love to see it. Rolling back the years. The Omen operator. It was always a treat to watch. When's he coming back?
Anyway, there was plenty of comparisons you can make. That was one of them. I'm sure Eccles will be very happy for it.
Absolutely.
To be compared to CNED.
Might not be happy with your response to it.
No, but again, I'm okay with that.
Oh, wow.
I'm in my bitter era. 5-4 in terms of the players standing.
Toxins going up.
I'm going to try and make a move back. Yedege is desperately low, has a good read onto Mini. But the team, they're tracking him down. There's still another player to deal with, though, and Cracks has already managed to find them. Yeah, it's not... What a 4K from Cracks! Woo!
Delete the VOD. Don't you, Andy? Andy, listen to me, brother. I'm pleading. Don't replay that. I don't want slow-mo. I don't want fast-mo. I don't want any mo. Just leave it. Leave it on the server, please. Nice stuff from Cracks to start this one at least.
And then we cut the replay.
No, leave it here. Just on back to the game. Back to the game. All right. No.
Why do we get both?
Andy, come on, man. Yeah, that was rough. I think he was one shot to a classic as well, and none of them hit. You know what? It's making me feel a lot better about my ranked games last night, because I'm pretty sure I was playing like that.
I think we got Gorilla on the show later, so he can actually confirm.
I hope to God he doesn't.
Oh, Cracks. A really clean round from him in the last, a 4K.
Really
now
clean
he's
3K.
under pressure, but that Viper screen again is just doing so much in terms of delay. We're going to start heading back in the other direction, though. A rotation already in from FUT, but they still have 2 players holding.
Yeah, they've not over-rotated on this one. Certainly more numbers on the other side of the map, but still CNED's operator to contend with. The big investment from FUT in the previous round, they very much needed, and Cracks has bailed them out of a very bad situation that would have been mates miles ahead. It would still a buy on the other side, and smokes down. CNED can't do much. Can't take that much of a risk, but Comeback clearly can. That was an audacious move, and one that he's punished for. Double push on the back, though. The tall box has 2 players, and the off doesn't land its shot. FUT, though, still in with an opportunity. The trades keep coming back in the other direction, and Mini, ever reliable in those battles, has found them the advantage. Now they have a choice on that defensive side, risking the operator, their entire economy on the brink for so many of these players. Could be worth just hanging on to. They want to try to find an opportunity, and it will be Yedege that decides this as he goes down. There's no choice left. CNED tries to get out of here, and it looks like he'll make it. The rounds climbing up in favor of Gentlemates. This is a great start to Bind.
Yeah, no, they've been doing very well, playing the rotations, not over-committing into sites where they don't have the information. I think it's made it very difficult for Stars to get this operator in the right place, but also for players like Zeus. Just constantly trying on these rotations, but it hasn't really been working out. 1 and 7. The man we deemed almost the carry of this squad when it came to the last stage, and they are struggling. And what's going to be interesting as well is with these pauses is, as it was mentioned, we've got a new coach. Geist is gone. Jonta, though, is also not here. So it feels like FUT are going to be in a little bit more trouble maybe than normal.
I feel like it's a good thing for Geist, though. Watching this game, his heart rate might have done him in at this point. The man on the other side, the countryman of FUT Comeback, he's been phenomenal so far. A little bit of a risk taken in the last round that didn't really pay off. I think you look on the other side and so someone like Mini, you said it earlier on, leading by example, and he very much has been. One of the challenges, I suppose, though, having a player like Comeback on the team, you talk about that communication barrier. I think it's going to be something that mates have to work very hard to try to bridge that gap.
It's also culture. Like you're bringing through players from all across Europe and the EMEA and trying to piece it all together right at the end. But I've always respected with Gentlemates coming in. Like obviously the first year, like they were in the sector that got 2 years within the league rather than the one that we see nowadays. But I like the fact they gave the sort of original roster an opportunity, but when it didn't work, they've been very happy to make changes. Clearly a team that are fighting to stay within the league and taking not so much risks in terms of who they're signing, but risks in terms of investment, because I can't imagine the signing of Comeback was cheap. Picking up some solid players from their respective leagues. Prox is definitely one I've been excited to see. Maybe off to a bit of a quieter start, but hey, you're playing Astra half the time. You're going to be placing you two.
Well, Cracks has been causing a lot of problems for mates. This round, they want to start by selling a fake towards that A site, and a big part of it is Comeback being able to dive in, use his refract. That's his little TP ability to get in and get out. Of course, buffed since the last time that, last time many of you would have seen Waylay in play. Now it's, I think it's 0.15 seconds, the same as a chamber TP. So you become invulnerable very, very quickly. But that knife has been landing from Cracks every single time. And now a bit of a change. As Mini's been punished, his early fights have been so solid. They're going to play this one without the Viper, and the fake has not worked. There's still players here. CNED, though, he goes down. Only one for Zeus, but he's picked out of the sky, and Comeback dives deep into the back of the site for the advantage.
Yeah, when a showstopper's used, you'd normally expect to come out with an advantage, but instead, again, the attack have traded so effectively. Mr. Fallen has ult available, but just looks for a dry fight, and that's not something you want to be doing against Comeback. Vekash as well already watching, but he will lose the battle. Caught moving. The problem, though, is the time, Mitch. Like, realistically, from this point onwards, there's no way he wins this round.
Now, you upgrade that weapon and carry it through to the next. It's the best decision for Yedajay, but
he might not.
Might not be so easy. Come back, blocked out by the wall. That gets Yedajay deep into the spawn, and now, as long as he plays his cards right, should be an easy save for that side. A weapon carried forward, but another round for Gentlemates. The Stope steepening. Goodness gracious. In favor of Mates, and I think this start, it really, like, you look at the rounds that FUT have won, and one of them comes off cracks, just blitzing into a site and taking down so many.
Yeah.
Even here, they commit the showstopper in the trade, still found on the other side. It feels like they are really struggling to find any sort of a reliable way to put rounds on the board, or even make them close.
Yeah, I think as well, like, it's been these rotations, but also the disruptive manner of Comeback. Like, sure, it's not going to work every single time, but he's very happy to pressure and get in their face, not allow them to retake as a squad. Well, a lot of what made FUT very exciting was their ability to pacily hit into sides. It means that they kind of have higher expectations on the attack. Paranoia, solid. They will be slowed down. Convergence path even thrown in as well, but I'll be interested to see if they actually execute off it. It may not even matter, because Prox has done enough already.
1 versus 4. It seems like they're left in these positions so often, and Mates landing these duels consistently. They're even going to close out the round this time. Nothing carried forward for FUT from bad to worse. Mates just seem to be having fun down on that stage. Doesn't matter how they approach these rounds, whether it's direct, whether it's fakes that are being canceled in the early stages by Krax's knife, the early battle, and indeed actually Mini going down early, which hasn't been a factor, not in this round, but the previous. Still, they're able to make it work.
See, this is another piece. Like, you mentioned that I feel like the whole kit here for Waylay has become pacier. Like, that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, as you mentioned, you can throw out pieces of utility, like the slow now is a lot quicker to be used. You can get your gun out a lot quicker, which I think was the main problem, is you're dashing into areas and then you're stood there like, I can't shoot you for the next half a second. Yedajay, though, we're finally starting to see some success. But dear Lord, every advantage FUT has comes crumbling down.
And they're even being watched here. Vekash lost the battle to a Bulldog before, and he'll lose it again. That's right, the numbers place. Even. Mr. Fallen even has the ultimate to clear space in towards this site. TP used by CNED. From the shadows, he's emerged in the bathrooms, and Comeback about to be revealed. In fact, they both are. CNED can now strike. He can make all the steps he wants, knowing that these players can't hear a damn thing, but the flash reveals him. Blind is good, and that'll get him Kamek. 30 HP as he taps the defuse, but it's not being stuck. Comeback jumping in, sees that, and he's caught with the spam. It started out in favor of FUT. It looks like it will end that way. Time low, but not quite low enough. 3 rounds on the board at least. They're going to shoot for 4.
Yeah, it's a solid ult from Mr. Fallen. I think I feel a little bit bad for Vekash, because I feel like that's a few times now that his positioning and read on the scenario has been great. He's just not quite hit the shots, which, again, like first day jitters, I think we can be a little bit more forgiving of the players over on the Mates side who are making this move for the first time. But for anybody who had any doubts about Comeback, I hope they are resolved.
Certainly would imagine that they are. 15-6. There's a reason he's getting talked about so much.
It's his first time on an international roster as well. Like, he's always been with that sort of core of BBL Pacific that was speaking Turkish. Like, you've had to swap languages and come into a completely different culture, different country. And yeah, he's 15-6, having a great time.
Yeah, we talked about those language barriers and how that can play a role. Even seen in the interview earlier, obviously he has the translator as well, but doesn't have one on the server. Evidently doesn't need one. The guy knows the game well enough. 5v5 to start. FUT battling for that 4th round. It would be a recovery on an otherwise underwhelming half. The TP taken, and they have just swapped positions with the defenders entirely. This defense is a facade that's quickly fading.
It's got to be very confusing for Mates. But they are now slowly making the realization, and Kamek definitely has. That's all the information he could ever need. Zeus has won the battle, but the flash up, they'll swing it, but there's still one more to deal with. They didn't expect another player to be there. Prox, he's been revealed. And they're now being closed in. This is a tough point to fight from, but crispy aim once again.
Final note, drawing close on this half for FUT. It has finally come into their favor. 2 in a row, right as the final bell tolls. That's going to give them a shot coming into half number 2. The climb back against Mates, though, will be a steep one considering the performance of that man down on the stage. Comeback has been feeling it as they move on to the defense.
Yeah, he's been impressive. He's been someone that you definitely have to deal with in that second half. More interestingly, we are going to be hearing a little bit more from Comeback as we come back after the break.
Hem kadrosal olarak bence daha iyiler, oyuncu olarak diğer gelen tekliflere göre kadro olarak daha iyiler ve sıcakkanlılar.
Pressure on. The problem is Comeback's capitalized and he's walked right up behind him. That's another shot connected. Beautiful reactions and another a 3-piece under his belt. Mandatory. They thought they were pushing and pulling the map, playing it well, but this man had other ideas.
Yani dediğim gibi çok sıcakkanlı karşıladı herkes birbirini. Çünkü herkes tier 2'den geldi 3 kişi. 3 kişi tier 2'den geldi. Öbürü tier 2 kişi tier 1'de kalanlar da çok iyi oynayanlar zaten. EMEA, öbür EMEA stage 1'i. O yüzden yani herhangi bir problem yaşamadık. Tam tersi daha çok iletişim kurmaya başladık birbirimizle. Seviyorum kendisini. Çok iyi bir aim'i var ama operatör de geri olduğu için yani tam şey olmuyor. Ama çok iyi bir insan olduğu için yani dostuz zaten.
Welcome back, folks. 4 rounds for FUT coming out of that first half. A recovery right at the end with some close rounds swinging their way. But when you look at this map so far, it certainly has felt like Mates have had control. Question is, will that continue moving on to the defensive side? And if Comeback has anything to say about it, it most certainly will.
Yeah, if anything now, he's going to have more opportunities to go for these aggressive fights. I think a solid sign, though, for the other side is that obviously CNED's look decent individually, still playing the Omen. I think it's always going to be easier for him on the defensive side. Now it's going to be more about his utility and setup. And I think the main focal point for FUT has to be Zeus. Like, he's had a slow start, which, if you go back to his statistics from the previous stages, he has been a superstar. I want to see a little bit more from that.
The stun doesn't land. Force back on Bath. FUT will be taking that control, but not for free. There's a group up on short. All of the players on this side of the map, 4 stacked up and ready to battle. Mates take the openings, even eliminate Comeback just as he attempts to TP out of there. The refract cancelled in mid-action. Instead, it's very quick to activate now, but FUT were that little bit faster. Still, the spike is down and very much being secured by that defensive side.
Just try and stick this one out together. It's definitely not going to be easy. Kamek as well, just set up with a flash in hand, but a little bit nervous about the edge of that smoke. Mini's also gone down. The reveal will find cracks, but still no picks to be had. And they know someone's within the smoke, but still haven't been able to deal that final blow just yet. FUT have managed to make this competitive, but they're very low.
There's no utility to fight back through this. If Crack still had a flash, then popping it out would be very powerful. But all he has to work with is the knife. A smoke coming back online for CNED. Again, opens this gap and he waits a while to use it. The idea being that their smoke will fade. They can take that space up close, but now time is low! And so are the numbers on FUT. A phenomenal pistol round from Gentlemates, identifying the part of the map that was being fought for and then taking the battle somewhere else as a unit. And they just so happen to take it to where the spike is.
Yeah, I think the fun thing we're seeing with this roster is that even though you don't have the most experienced in-game leader, I think what we're witnessing is you have all of these players that have come up from the tier 2. Like, none of these, when you look back into the beginning of the year, were within this roster. But they all seem to believe in every single call that's being made. Like, if it is said, okay, we're going back in the other direction with 30 seconds left, they all follow. If we're pushing mid, we all go together. Like, everybody seems to be on the same page, whereas I think there's been aspects of FUT where that hasn't necessarily been the case. You know the individual skill is there, but they are beefed being beaten at the team game.
Vekash up against Classic, and he's already tripled up. A beautiful fight for this man.
He's slow-mo.
That's an easy closer. Comeback even got to hit a second shot with that Marshall. Just thanks to the stun going through. 10-4 now. Finding the pistol and the follow-up. And coming into this matchup, Tom, we highlighted that the previous version of Mates, at least, have been the worst in EMEA at picking up pistols. It was like 43%, if I remember correctly. Well, this iteration of the roster, doing much better. And it's all Vekash, really. He's showing up in each pistol round.
Yeah, the second round being an in-zone flawless as well is definitely going to help them out to build up that little bit of extra economy, build up the ultimates as well. If this was a pick of Mates, I'd say great work, but it's the pick of FUT, so if anything, it's great work, but also you've got to be a little bit worried for the Turkish squad that this really has not gone to plan.
This rifle round, one of the last hopes for the attacking side. Mates are nearing victory. Shadows stretching thin here. On this map, on their pick. You have to now see that spark ignited again for them. Clearing out those positions on backside. They found Vekash in the open. Nice pick for CNED. That's the opener they need. That's the plant secured. And I've got a flanker coming all the way around, which is Kamek.
He's tagged so
gonna
many
be here
players. Oh! Okay, the tags were meaningless. Sure, a couple of assists goes through, but Mini is flying. Another triple. And well, now FUT have got to be feeling nervous. He's waiting for Kamek. He's giving him the space and time to wrap around, and that was the right call. Now they can figure out the position of Yetege in a matter of moments already. That spike is beginning to be defused. All they need to do to defend it. Oh, well, Mates. Well, I say Mates, the two Mates, Kamek and Mini. What a retake that was from them.
You got to look at that situation. At the start of that fight for Mini, Kamek is outside in A lobby. He's so far away. I was going to say that
My God.
there might not be anyone left for him to meet back up with.
This one. I like a slow-mo on this one.
Nice! But Mini, he stood his ground when everyone fell around him. And that's got to be a frustrating round to lose with FUT desperately needing that. They're now 11-4 down on their map pick. They're left with pistols to fight in this one.
I think Geist would have passed away if he was still in the
gone.
chair.
He is on the floor.
Oh, no. That is definitely a rough defeat to take. Wow, the moment Sway left alone, I'm not really sure what words could be given. Comeback, even now having an operator, they have the extra finances after winning that. They've even baited him into the battle, but with his util fading away, he's not going to re-aggress, he's not going to overface.
Even a round like this, we've seen FUT win many a time. Oh, that's a freebie to open. That's Mini down as well. The player who's been there every single time for Gentlemates. But Kamek, he's still on fire after that previous. He's looking to go through with the wingman. The Mosh fired in, he follows it up. And ends up losing his life. And another fall.
Okay.
The retrieved weapon for FUT, finding so much value. And the spike already on this A site for free.
That's one of the better opportunities they've had.
Spike planted.
But these clutch scenarios have pretty much all been one-way traffic. The players of Mates have been coming up big, but it's the less experienced ones that stand. Vekash and Prox try and turn this back, and it's not pretty from Prox, leaving just Vekash standing to try and face versus two, and they are giving him absolutely nothing. He's got the right read of where Yetege is, but the time now becomes the third member of FUT, and it's Mr. Fallen, who started this with nothing, that ends it with 3. A pay save card, Thrifty, will gift FUT a round.
They didn't even buy up into that round. It was a Thrifty. It was Sheriffs across the board, and they're able to make it work. That initial pick onto Mini, costly, but it looked like Kamek had done what he needed to keep them alive, but he wanted to deny that weapon being taken on long. The problem was it was already in their hands. Yetege not letting go of hope for the side of FUT. 11-5. Still though, a steep ascent needed to get back into this map. The choice of FUT.
Shutting them down.
CNED will now have the operator himself, and Prox has had to drop down to an SMG. A lot of positions on this map where there can hold value. One of them is exactly where he has ended up, taking that control into Hookah. And they do have Thrash available, but Nightfall on the other side likely to have more impact. And with the spike still down on the ground, it seems like, at least for now, FUT are just happy to feel out the map, watch for any aggression, and then decide where they want to go at the end of it all.
Throughout that first half, FUT only managed to string together 2 rounds at the very end. Round 11 and 12 of half number 1. It was a shaky performance. They can't afford to start as slow this time around. TP taken, comeback seized, and he will get right on out of there. Quick teleport back to the other side. This means a slow retake on this B site with no advantage to play with, and smokes down on elbow, but nothing blooming for the spawn. Mates have a read. They know this is likely being held. Do they know it's by the operator? Well, now they certainly do. A trade from Mini. Every time they need him, he is there. This round would put FUT to bed, crush them. And with Mr. Fallen by the wayside, this is looking like it could be the downfall. CNED steps up for 3, and Yedajay closes it out. The classic, even used by CNED after that op shot. A much needed win on the board for FUT.
Yeah, these rounds are so desperately close though. And Mates are going to try and stem the bleeding a little early. They've had opportunities. Well, the last round should have been theirs, but this one comes down to the wire. And ends up just being actually Mini trying to swing to help his teammate and going down from the same spray to Yedajay. Still the same case though. CNED looking good, but Zeus has been going missing. Well, if he can come online, maybe there is an opportunity for them to turn this back. For Goke, clearly, that's a realization that he's had. Okay, we're back onto Eco. Can have a little bit of talk, see what we can find in this round. Ultimates are not in a bad position, but when you have this low on weaponry, you can't really expect too much. But the main thing is feeling out what they're going to be doing in the next buy round.
One timeout coming to a close. 2 in a row for FUT. The most they've managed so far. Losing both pistols really makes this a difficult affair. It could be a much closer game. And they've had that stronger start. Losing the 3rd round here makes it no easier. It's not over yet for this squad. They picked this map for a reason. Seeing the return of CNED to our stage yet again. Delivering that previous round, 2 op picks straight into a classic for the 3K. He's still got that spark in him.
Where's comeback about to go?
Passion for Mates. Look at this. It's 3 players running it down, and CNED ready to greet them.
I was looking at the stinger that's been brought up by comeback, but in reality, it was the rest of the team that was the one to get aggressive. You know, look to now try and join his teammate within the site, but that collateral should have been enough already to end this round. One of the ults went with it, but as said, I don't really expect to see any of them thrown in for the side of Mates in this round.
Well, not after those picks as well. Even coming in, they found an opening, there'd be a chance. Nice shot, but the weaponry's not quite there for him. Come back straight through the TP. He'll be refracting to the site. They haven't quite walked out to meet him. And Prox, it seems he's gotten the collateral. 2 players down. It was 2 separated, but even still, that Sheriff, it showed up. Those are the only picks that they'll find.
That second shot through the box was crazy. Just had a read on where his opponent was going to be, but hey, you take it. There's a little bit of damage. Cracks, though. There again is a safe pair of hands, and now is where things should get interesting. 4 ults online for one side, 2 on the other, but also 2 very close to being online. It's just a prediction of where his opponent was going to be. That is wonderful stuff, but ultimately It ends up just being a little bit of extra economic damage.
Now, this is indeed the difficult round. So many ultimates for Gentlemates, and already you can see the first is put into play. The Viper's Pit locking down this A control, but this is normally where you see a team look for control elsewhere.
There.
Maybe even bypass the pit through the bathroom, and for a moment I thought with numbers accruing on the other side that they were just going to walk straight through. But they will fight for that bath control. A smoke into heaven should easily block out any of Prox's vision. The Kamek on the site. He has to be the one to defend Mini's back as he holds down that pit from within. Showstopper put through as well. They know that Mini was sprinting away. He's even caught two! Full blind! And it's the Showstopper needed to put him to bed, but that won't stop Gentlemates. They leave CNED and Mr. Fallen in a 2v4, but it quickly flips back into FUT's favor, I suppose. The damage done to CNED is massive, but with an AWP and a TP for the plant, this is opening a huge opportunity. Mr. Fallen, he's on the backstab, but CNED has to survive.
Yeah, he has. Manages to dodge that convergence path. I think he's been spotted, but it's given time. Come back, though. He has the read. A genius realizes that it's been too quiet from the other player, and now CNED left on a minuscule amount of HP will go down. It was a valiant attempt from CNED in this round. It's good to see him back.
A great read by Comeback. But a great attempt by CNED indeed. He just took that from an impossible affair into one that looked like FUT might have all the pieces connecting. He was full blind and takes down two. The Showstopper sent in to finally deal with Mini, but in the process, the door opens for that wraparound from Kamek. It's those two shots that made this possible. But it was that one from Comeback that sealed the deal. 12-7 now, 5 rounds in a row needed from the side of FUT, and they also committed quite a lot to that previous. They come in with only a Viper's Pit of their own to try to make this work.
It's a tough scenario. Again, it felt like some of these rounds, especially in the second half, have been incredibly thin margins from victory and defeat. The turnaround from Comeback was what made all the difference, and while Prox fighting forward, I think he got a glimpse. He did get a glimpse. And this man's headshot percentage, I feel like it's got to be up there. It seems like headshot or bust for him. Comeback not over-facing, not over-aggressing. Will get out after that man advantage, and while the TP is now going to be taken, but I feel like a lot of this is just FUT trying to sell the idea they're going back, but with the Viper's Pit committed, I guess they are.
Yeah, the spike's here now. 3 players on this side of the map. CNED left behind to catch over aggression, but he sees nothing. They can easily TP. They can easily go back to B, and the hope here is that they've drawn the eyes of all these players, but those steps are heard. This is a clear signal to Gentlemates that the push is not coming in on this B site.
30
Smoke
seconds
seems
left.
to have kept them for a moment, though. Comeback cancels his rotation. It puts the pressure onto these players that are waiting, but Vekash unmoving in that hold of Hookah. He'll find CNED, and waiting inside Hookah is Prox. They thought it was just a man outside, but not quite. This will be the end of map number 1.